Good morning, children. I'm Tanima Seth, your English teacher from GD Goenka, Kanpur. I hope you all are in the pink of your health. Children, you all know that we have completed with the explanation of the poem. So now, it's very important for you all to study figures of speech. And as I say this, I know it would have come into your mind that why figures of speech is important to learn. See, children, learning figures of speech helps you to improve your understanding of the figurative language. And figures of speech also express the author's intent and take the reader on a journey through what he or she experienced or imagined or witnessed at a specific period or periods in time. With that, the very next question that comes to our mind is, where do authors use figures of speech? Authors often use figures of speech in both literature and poetry, and for what purposes? To enhance their writing. So figure of speech is a way of using a word or a phrase in a form different from the ordinary form so as to give greater effect. So the word or phrase is used in a figurative or imaginative way and not in a literal sense. This is really important. I am repeating it again. The word or phrase is used in a figurative or imaginative way, not in a literal sense. Literal sense means the exact meaning. Like for example, if I state one sentence, she combed the hair. So here the meaning of this sentence is the literal meaning, or it is stating the exact words. Here the girl, she is performing the action of combing the hair. So this is the only exact meaning or the literal meaning of this sentence. But when I say the police combed the jungle, so over here the meaning of combed is not the same as in the previous sentence. Rather, over here it contains a figurative meaning. Over here it means that the police searched the jungle in order to find something or someone. So, we can draw the conclusion that figurative language is the use of words that go beyond their ordinary meanings. Figurative language requires you to use your imagination to figure out the author's meaning. And it is the opposite of literal language, in which words match their definition. Now, on the basis of this, you need to learn some of the very common figures of a speech, and after learning the figures of a speech in today's class, it will help you to identify some of the figures of a speech that has been used in your poem. So the very first figure of a speech that comes over here is simile. Now, what is simile? Simile is used to compare two objects of different kinds, which have, however, at least one point in common. And of course, for comparison, we use the words like, so, as, etc. As you can see it in the example, she ran like the wind. Now, over here, the person that is being referred to as she in the sentence and the wind are two different things. But what is being compared over here? The speed of running of the girl to the speed of the wind. She ran like the wind, and the word like has been used for it. So of course you are using a simile when you compare the speed of running to the speed of the wind, or when you compare two objects of different kinds, but at least one point is common in them, then of course you are using a simile. Some more examples of simile are, he was as busy as a bee. Now over here again, the person, he who has been referred in the sentence, and the bee are totally different things or different beings. But what has been compared over here? The person's level of energy to a fast flying bee. She looks as snug as a bug in a rug. Again, comparing someone who is very cozy to how comfortable a bug can be in a rug. So the second important poetic device is metaphor. Children, there is a very slight difference between metaphor and simile. Simile says that one thing is like another or acts as another. But metaphor does not say this, that one thing is like another or acts as another. Rather, it says that the two things are one. For example, if I say he fought like a lion or he has a heart like stone, I'm using similes like, alright. But when I say he was a lion in the fight or he has a heart of stone, I'm using metaphors. Why? Because I'm stating that he was a lion in the fight. Though I have compared the bravery of the person to that of the lion. But of course, I'm saying that it is this. Alright. So, next figure of speech is personification. Now, what is personification? Personification means giving human qualities, feelings, action, or characteristics to inanimate objects. Inanimate objects that are without life, non-living objects or non-living things, as well as the abstract concepts or the abstract ideas. So, in personification, inanimate objects and abstract ideas or qualities are spoken of as if they were persons or human beings. Alright. For example, you could see it. The window winked at me. Now, of course, the action of winking, who performs this action? A human being, right? But of course, when we say the window winked at me, over here the window has been personified. It has been given the human quality of winking at someone. So therefore, the window is a good example of personification, or you can say that the window has been personified. One more example we have: the willow tree shook her long hair. Again, the willow tree has been personified over here. Who shakes one's long hair? Of course, the one person or mostly the girls who have long hair, right? But over here, the figurative meaning is that the willow tree's long branches sway in the wind. So by saying shook her long hair, the tree is given the characteristics of a human. So the willow tree has been personified over here. So the next poetic device, figure of a speech, is alliteration. Alliteration is the repetition of the same consonant sound in a line or in a sentence. For example, as you can see it, the sizzling sun shone. So in this very line, the repetition of the consonant sound S is alliteration. As you can see that the letter S has been underlined in this sentence. In the word sizzling, the letter S has been underlined. Then again the consonant sound is repeating in the word sun and again in the shone. So the repetition of the consonant sound S over here, of the letter S over here, is alliteration. Similar example, as you can see it in the next line: brightly in the beautiful blue. So over here, the consonant sound B or the letter B, the sound of the letter B is being repeated. Again, it is alliteration. One more example: Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. So in this sentence, you can see that the consonant sound P is repeating, per. So therefore, it is alliteration. The next figure of speech is imagery. Children, imagery refers to the mental pictures that readers experience when reading literature. It appeals directly to one or more of the five senses. Alright. Now, suppose if I say It was dark and dim in the forest. So in this example, the picture of a dark and dim forest is created by appealing to the reader's sense of sight. In the next example, the children were screaming and shouting in the field. Similarly, in this sentence, the picture of children screaming and shouting is created by appealing to the reader's sense of hearing. So the next figure of speech is onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia are words that sound like the objects they name or the sounds those objects make. Or you can say that onomatopoeic words are formed on the very sound that they make. So there are lots and lots of onomatopoeic words which we use in our day-to-day life. Some examples that I can state are ring, splash, crack, screech, bang, and even the cries of all the animals and birds. The sounds that the animals and birds give are also onomatopoeic words. They have no literal meaning to it. Rather, these words are just formed on the very sound that they make. One example stated here is of a zip. Zip is an onomatopoeic word. Why? Because when you zip up a zipper, it gives the sound of a zip. Some more examples are the bees buzzed. So the sound made by the bee is of that of buzzing. So again, buzzed is an onomatopoeic word. The rain went drip, drop, drip on the roof. So over here, the words drip, drop, drip are onomatopoeic words which actually tells us the sound of the rain dropping on the roof. Again, smash, the glass shattered on the floor. So smash is the onomatopoeic word which is over here telling us or making or giving the sound of cracking of the glass. Next we come to the identification of the rhyme scheme of a given in a given poem or maybe of a verse. What is rhyme scheme? The rhyming pattern that is created at the end of the lines of any poetry. Like for example, you can see Mary had a little lamb, its fleece is white as snow, and everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. So if you notice the last words in every line, the end word in every line, the rhyming scheme is actually obtained from these. How? Like in the very first line, the last word lamb. Now this is not rhyming with snow, went or go. Therefore, it would be denoted with the letter A. Then when we come to the second line, the last word of the second line, snow. Snow is rhyming with go. So it would be denoted by the note B. Then went in the third line is of course not matching with any other word or is not rhyming with any other word like lamb, snow or go. So it would take the note of C. Therefore, the rhyme scheme obtained for this verse is A, B, C, B. Alright children, always remember that if there is no rhyme scheme or no rhyme scheme is followed in a verse or in a poem, then that is considered to be a free verse poem. I have some more examples for you so that it helps you further to identify the rhyme scheme. As you can see in this verse, just look at the very last words in every line. In the first line, the last word seal is rhyming with feel. So it takes the note of A. Then in the alternate line, second and the fourth line, the last word fears is rhyming with ears. So it takes the note B. Therefore, the rhyming scheme of this stanza is A, B, A, B. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high over vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Now, if you look over here, the last words of the lines have been circled. So over here in this stanza, Cloud is rhyming with crowd in the third line. So it takes the note of A. Hills is rhyming with daffodils. So it takes the note B. So till here we have obtained the rhyming scheme as AB of the first 4 lines. But when you come to the 5th and the 6th line, as you can see, the trees is rhyming with breeze. So it will be denoted by the letter C, or it takes the note of the letter C. So now the rhyming scheme thus obtained in for this verse is AB C C. So now children, let us together try to identify the figures of speech in the poem Pirate Story. Just look to the third line in the first verse. Winds are in the air, they are blowing in the spring. Over here, the pronoun they has been used for the winds, again giving it the human quality or a human trait. So winds have been personified over here. When we come to the very next line, and waves are on the meadow like the waves there are at sea. Which figure of speech has been used over here? Yes, you are correct. It is simile. Now, when you move to the second stanza or the second verse, come to the second line of this verse, wary of the weather and steering by a star. Over here, the consonant sound of "were" is being repeated in wary and weather. So this figure of speech is known as alliteration. Similarly, steering by a star, which consonant sound is repeating itself? That of the letter S. So again, it is the example of alliteration. Now, moving to the third verse, let's come to the second line. Cattle on the meadow are charging with a roar. Over here, the word roar is an onomatopoeic word. Again, in the last line, the wicket is the harbor and the garden is the shore. The poet is stating over here that wicket is the harbor and garden is the shore. So the things are not alike each other, rather they are that. The wicket is harbor and the garden is the shore. So what kind of figure of speech has been used over here? Metaphor. Apart from these figures of speech that I have stated, the poet has also used imagery in the entire poem to evoke images in the mind of the reader, which appeals to the sense of sight of the reader. Therefore, the reader can easily imagine that the children are playing in the meadow or the scene at the sea. The adventure game, of course, that they were playing. One more thing, how would you obtain the rhyme scheme of this poem? See, you have already learnt it and it's really easy. Like, for example, if I take the first verse of the poem, the last word in every line, just see to it carefully, swing rhymes with the word spring in the third line, at the end of the third line. So it will be denoted by the note A, and Lee in the second line rhymes with C. So it takes the note of B. So the rhyme scheme is A, B. And this rhyme scheme of A, B runs in the entire poem. So see children, how simple it was to identify the figures of a speech in the rhyme scheme, right? But of course, you go through the video again, practice hard so that you can understand the concept better. Repeat the exercise and practice. Till then, take care of yourselves.